Hello judges, my name is Leah Stepanyan, and today I'll be explaining my science fair experiment, which is what impact does the dairy product have on glucose levels, and what are the implications of lactose-free. So lactose intolerance occurs when your small intestine doesn't produce enough of an enzyme, lactase, to digest lactose. Normally, lactase turns milk sugar into two simple sugars, glucose and galactose, which are absorbed into the bloodstream through the intestinal lining. And if you're lactase deficient, lactose in your food moves into the colon instead of being processed and absorbed. And in the colon, normal bacteria interact with undigested lactose, causing the signs and symptoms of lactose intolerance. After researching, I hypothesized that the bottles containing regular dairy products would have lower glucose concentrations than lactose-free dairy products, as the lactose in regular dairy products has not been broken down into glucose and galactose. Now I measured 20 ml of each of the samples, glucose solution as my positive control, water as my negative control, milk, lactose-free milk, almond milk, regular ice cream, and lactose-free ice cream. And I did the glucose test strip into each one of the 7 test tubes every 2 minutes for 5 consecutive times. And I used the color chart on the glucose test strips packaging to analyze the glucose content in each liquid. For the second part of my experiment, I added 50 microliters of lactase into each one of the samples, and I repeated the glucose test strip process. And for part C, I added 100 microliters of lactase, and I repeated the glucose test strip process. Now I got my results. So glucose solution throughout all 3 experiments had a very high content of glucose. And this confirms the accuracy of the glucose test strips and my experiment. Now, at the very beginning, without lactase, milk and ice cream had very low readings, but after the addition of 50 microliters of lactase, there was a significant increase in glucose content. Now, between 50 microliters and 100 microliters, there was no significant change. Now, for lactose-free milk and lactose-free ice cream, it remained relatively the same throughout all 3 experiments because lactose has been already broken down into glucose and galactose. Now, the data supported the hypothesis that the test tubes containing regular dairy product would have lower glucose concentrations compared to lactose-free dairy products. And in the future, a more precise glucometer and obtaining a mid-range volume micropipetter would ensure more accurate results, and temperature, pasteurization,